All right, what's up, folks? Nick Hoffey here, giving you an update on my bracket. Actually, I know you don't give a damn about my bracket, but let's talk about day one of the NCAA tournament. The first game that was somewhat competitive, Rhode Island and Oklahoma. Of course, Rhode Island wins in overtime. And Oklahoma has to be the worst team that has ever gotten in when you look at how they played in the final 2 months. I don't know if they won more than a few games in the last 2 months. They had some key wins early on in the year, but that took place in like November and December. So after that, the next game that was somewhat competitive, Gonzaga, UNC Greensboro. UNC Greensboro was the team that gets a little hot and actually is playing well enough to beat a really good team. Would have been a huge upset. I think it's the 13th seed and the 4th seed. But what UNC Greensboro did is what a lot of teams do in that situation. They shit their pants. They realize they're about to pull it off, and they completely implode. Gonzaga moves on to the next round. Some other games throughout the afternoon. I think Seton Hall, NC State was a competitive one. Believe it or not, I have Seton Hall beating Kansas in the second round. Not too confident in that pick, but I was glad to see that they got past NC State. Loyola Chicago takes down Miami, and I was wrong. I thought this was going to be that typical upset that everybody predicted, and then it didn't happen. Well, sure enough, it did. Loyola Chicago hits the game winner. And then later on in the evening, some other good games. Texas Tech and San Diego State, two teams that were probably better than most realized. A really good game. Houston ends up getting the win. Rob Gray, 39 points. Probably one of the best players in the country that nobody talks about. Houston advances and actually have them going on to the Sweet 16. And then another really good game later on in the evening, Alabama, Virginia Tech. I was pulling for Virginia Tech. I don't think Alabama was even deserving to make the tournament, but they advanced to the round of 32. And I just knew Virginia Tech's going to play a style that best suits them. But when that happens, that also best suits Colin Sexton, a guy who is clearly one of the best guards in the country. All right, to the last game that is worth talking about from day one. Arizona getting absolutely curb stomped by Buffalo. Sean Miller, bad coach, has not been he hasn't done anything at Arizona despite having all this talent. This year, you would have thought his team didn't even realize they had a guy named DeAndre Ayton who just might be the best player in college basketball, likely going to be the #1 pick in this year's NBA draft. So while it's fun to make fun of Arizona, we're going to do that probably all offseason. You got to give Buffalo credit. Not only did they just outplay Arizona, they looked like the better team. It wasn't a fluky game where they just got hot and were riding some March magic. Buffalo was better from start to finish. They were tougher, just better. All right, that's my updates, my thoughts from day one. I don't give a damn about your bracket. You don't give a damn about my bracket. But good luck to you on day number 2.